I'm going to try to give you some hints as to how to approach logic tables, and especially for studying for the midterm exam. So I posted to Muddiest Points these charts. Ignore the ones with the ones and zeros. Just the electronic versions. One means electricity is flowing, zero means it's not. We're going to look at and conditional and biconditional. You need to memorize these charts. You need to understand these charts. But you really don't need to memorize all the parts of the chart. You only need to memorize the piece that is here, that is actually, I've highlighted here. So what I would do is I'd make 4 study cards. For my and study card, I would remember that 2 truths make an and true. So if both are true, then the combination, if either are true, then both are true. Okay? Otherwise, they're false. But I don't have to remember the otherwise. Just remember that if they're both true, the and is true. For the or, the only thing I need to remember is that if P is false or Q is false, then P or Q must be false. Again, that's all I'm going to memorize. And I'm going to put those on study cards. And I'm going to take them with me in a pocket, in a pocketbook, or whatever. And when I get a free chance, I'm going to look at it. I might do that with other formulas that I'm supposed to need to learn. Conditional. I only need to remember that if a true statement implies a false statement, that's a false condition. So that I'm going to learn to remember. And for biconditional, I'm going to remember that if both are true, then the biconditional statement is true. And if both are false, the biconditional statement is true. That I'm going to memorize. And when I get on my test, midterm exam, after I get through honor lock, I'm going to take my notepads, my blank sheets of paper that I'm going to, not my notes, but my blank sheets of paper, my worksheets, and I'm going to write these down. I'm going to put them down on my scrap paper first thing before I start the exam. So now I have my tables. I don't have to think about them anymore. I'm going to do 3 quick examples. I'm going to go through them fairly quickly, but if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. Okay. The first one says not P or Q, and then and not Q. Well, you always do what's in parentheses first, and you've got to have a not there. So I created not. Put the possible combinations down: true, true, false, false, true, false, true, false. Not P is going to be the opposite of P, so false, false, true, true. And not P or Q. The only thing I'm actually going to put down here, and I'm going to show you this to begin with, is the only thing I'm going to write down at this point is the one that I know for or that is false is when they're both false. So I'm going to look for both false. P and Q, not P and Q. Not P is both are false. This is the only one that's false. And so I'm going to put a false in there. I write false in here because that's the one that I know. That's the only one that I have to worry about. It's the one I'm going to look for. Are there any other two both falses? No. So therefore, the rest must be true. Saves me a lot of time, makes it a lot easier to work with. Now, and not Q. So I need a not Q to go with this. So I need a not Q, or this, I guess this wasn't, oh, not Q. So I put a not, I did the not Q over here. So I did the opposite of Q. I have my orange, which is this right here. Oops, right here. Okay. And now I'm going to put these two together to make the green one here. So I'm going to do this. So what do I need for, and the key here is this. I don't really care what these are anymore, so long as I know which columns I'm supposed to be working with. I am interested in an and. And what do I know about and? When both are true, the and is true. So I go down and I look and see, is there any that is both true, false, false, true, true, false, true, 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 true. I put this one down first. Then I fill in the rest. And I'm going to do that with the next example as well. Okay. I have here, I need P and not R. So I've got R, I've got P. I do P and. All I'm looking for are both all trues. Well, there's a true, false, true, there's a true. So I write down the true. A true, false, 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 true, false, 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 true. The only one that is true is when both of them are true, and this is one and this is the other. And so therefore, and I don't see any others, I can double check again. So therefore, I put falses down for all the rest. So now I can put my falses in all the other places. And once I get that done, I can go on to this. I need the Q first, and I need the what I have here. So I will circle them, but I need or. Well, the only thing that I really want to concern myself with is when both are false. So I look at these two that I've circled in purple, and when are they both false? Well, true, false, true, true, false. I got a false. False, false. I got another false. True, false. No, true, false. No, false, false. I got another false. False, false. I got another false. Therefore, the rest must be true. When I do it this way, it's a lot easier to check my work and see what I'm doing. You may want to try this one out. Try doing it, the steps, and finding the pieces here and seeing if you can do this one yourself. I hope this helps you get you started on working truth tables more constructively and correctly.